it's a little bit of trouble to get adjusted to this kind of eating. After all, it's really different. And I'd like you to take the attitude that you want it to be different. You're not going to get the health you deserve. You're not going to get off the medications by things that aren't that much different, like skinning your chicken or picking low-fat dairy products. That's a small change. You should expect small results, if any results at all. Big changes beget big results. And so there may be some adjustment there. We try and make it as easy as possible. You love nuts and seeds, and they're high fat, they're familiar. You really love them when they're coated with salt and sugar too. I know you do. Just plain old boiled cashews probably ain't gonna make it for you, is it? So you have to make some adjustment as far as getting off of the nuts and seeds. And you should do it, particularly if you have to lose weight. You're gonna have a hard time losing weight when you're eating a food that contains 90% of the calories as fat. So, take a stand, set some limits, say, look, I'm not going to eat those nuts and seeds. And instead, find things that you really like. You're not satisfied? Well, try adding some extra beans, peas, and lentils to your diet. They're certainly more concentrated in protein and calories, and they're also very familiar. I mean, so you add some of these legumes in replacement of another legume, which is peanuts. Yeah, peanuts are a legume. They're not a nut. So you pick beans, peas, and lentils instead of those peanuts you were eating in a jar, and you're still eating legumes. Anyway, add some extra beans, peas, and lentils to your meal plan. Make sure you put enough salt on the surface of the food to enjoy it. Make sure you're eating enough. You people who switch to our kind of eating plan often have to eat 2 or 3 times as much food to get satisfied. If you're trying to eat the same portions you did on the American diet, hey, you're going to have a tough time. Our food is so calorie dilute, compared to the American diet, which is so calorie concentrated. So, steps to take: find starches you really like, flavor them with spices that you really like. Add a little salt and or simple sugar to the surface of the food. I know you like those 2 ingredients. And eat lots of food. And then try and appreciate the fact that you want to be different. That's what you're doing. You want to be different. And to be different, you have to make big changes. And the changes we have for you are so fundamental that they always work. And in time, you'll get adjusted. I can remember my own dietary change and the things that I used to miss 40 years ago. Well, these days, if you put those foods in front of me, I don't enjoy them. I find them disgusting. Matter of fact, we went to a restaurant recently, and they had a chocolate chip cookie. And Mary and I got a little tempted and bought a chocolate chip cookie and cut it in half. And, I couldn't eat it. It was so greasy. At one time, I know that I would really relish that kind of ingredient makeup of a chocolate chip cookie. After all, this is a very famous restaurant. They're not going to sell things that customers don't buy. But for me, because the adaptation and taste that have occurred over the years, and it doesn't take years, don't misunderstand. This takes a very short period of time. Fewer than 2 weeks is what once I thought was good to eat as far as taste goes. Now I find repulsive. And what I found unsatisfying, I find very satisfying. The science says so. Looking at the basic science is what you find is that when various kinds of foods are fed to people and ask them, how satiated are you? That potatoes are like 3 times as much satiety from potatoes as you get from chicken or beef. 7 times as much satiety from potatoes as you would from croissants. So your satisfaction comes scientifically determined. Your satisfaction comes from eating starchy foods. Let me just mention to you, this is the basic human design. We're designed as starch seekers. And this was only discovered about 6 years ago. I mean, the definitive studies, the physiology, the anatomy was discovered at Oregon State University. Now, what researchers did is they looked at the various taste-sensitive areas of the tongue, taste buds. And you find that at the tip of the tongue are taste buds for sweet, sugar, and salt. Well, that should tell you that you're designed as a seeker of sweet and salt. And then taste buds on the back of the tongue are bitter and sour, which protect you. Bitter and sour things are at best medicines, at worst, they're poisons. And this university research group, they discovered another set of taste buds, which were just as powerful as sweet tasting taste buds. What they did is they blocked the sugar sensitive taste buds on the tip of the tongue. And then they fed various foods to people, and they found out there was a starch, breads, beans, potatoes, rice, starch sensitive taste buds that were just as powerful as sugar tasting taste buds. We are designed as starch eaters, not just from the tongue, but as you chew the food, the saliva contains alpha amylase. The only purpose of alpha amylase is to digest starch. Throughout the intestinal tract, you've got other productions of amylase, like through the pancreas, to digest starch. That's what it does. A cat does not have a saliva with alpha amylase in it. They're not starch eaters. Everything about starches, the fact that they're full of dietary fiber, and so they make the bowels healthy and make the absorption of nutrients proper. And of course, getting down to the last part of the small intestine, if you want to have a good bowel movement and great relief every day, you need that starch, which is full of dietary fiber. So satisfaction, first day or two might be tough, but isn't it always when you change? Set yourself up for success. Find things that you like. Make sure you have 2 or 3 times as much food as you thought you were going to eat. Put a little salt, sugar, and spice over the top and appreciate the benefits. Nothing like finding out when you get on the scale next week that you've lost 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds. Or when you have your cholesterol rechecked that you've dropped your cholesterol 30, 40, 50 points. Or you check your blood pressure and you find out you got to get off your blood pressure pills because it's too low. Or you're a diabetic and you find out you have to. Good grief. Diabetics really need to be prepared to stop their medications quickly so they don't get low blood sugar. You find out that you don't need the medication. You find out that your diabetes is going away or gone away. You might say to yourself, hey, even though it was a little tough in the beginning, it was well worth the trouble. And you're going to ask yourself someday soon, why did I wait so long? I should have been doing this a long time ago. If I'd only knew better. Or as they say, if I'd known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself. You'll say that, but once you discover the other side of the coin, once you discover the truth, you're designed to look, feel, and function well. If you're not, it's not because of a problem in the design, it's a problem in your understanding of how to take care of this wonderful creation. I'm Dr. John McDougall.